So the Waiter to Win Betway show is now here. We're ready for our Betway Summer Cup preview, the whole card. We're going through race 2 through 11. First time as first race we don't know too much about, and we'll see how that all plays out. Gabriel Soma is going to join me. He's on the line. He'll join Daryl Marie and myself to get some insight as to what the plan is for the day. From a punting perspective, it does look like some very exciting prospects running. Hopefully we can get some money. Your reminder about the blue voucher opportunity. For those of you who don't know about it, you can stand a chance to win up to 50,000 Rand if you use the blue voucher code to top up your Betway account, and so many other ways of getting involved with using blue voucher. Okay, the second race on the card, 11 to 2 the field, where Roaming Spirit Mike de Coxos tops the field. Is a special maiden plate, 300,000 Rand. I use the word special because of that much money associated with that kind of class event. 13 Green Street is 11 to 2, 12 Green Sapphire 6 to 1, and 11 Shabera is at 17 to 2. You can get 17 to 2 about the 14 Hong Kong. Gabriel, good morning. Good to have you with us.
Good morning, Clyde and Daryl. Thank you very much for having me on the show once again. It's very special to be a guest, especially on a day like the Betway Summer Cup, which is our most prestigious race meeting of the year. From an event perspective, everything's going really well. So basically what we're going to try and do today is guide our punters in the right direction, and hopefully it's going to be a fantastic day for everyone concerned.
All right, let's talk about the second race. Where are you at the moment in terms of what you like? How many do we need? It's a buy pot opportunity as well. Yes, they bet 5.5 to 1 the field. I was chatting to Sean Terry the other day when we did the panel discussion, and he said, look, to be honest, I'm not going to be fussy with which one I want to win. Let any one of them win at that prize money.
Sure, Clyde. So as you would expect, a maiden plate that's worth 300,000 Rand and is restricted to horses that have had less than 4 runs and horses that have been placed in their last 2 starts, you're going to get a pretty decent field, and that's what we've got here. However, when I dissect the field pretty closely, I think 2 horses stick out like sore thumbs. And I'm confident that if you go with these 2 horses in your bets, you will get through, and I'll be very disappointed if one of them don't win. My first choice is Roaming Spirit, and the reason for that is her form is very good, number one, but she's also had the run back. And with that run under the belt, I'm hoping she comes to this race a fitter filly, and I think on that, she'll be the filly they have to beat. I think the only danger is Green Sapphire. If this filly had been racing fit, I would think she's close to a racing certainty, but unfortunately, she comes off a 6-month break. However, Sean has earmarked this race. You could almost see it. He's probably earmarked this race for a long time. He hasn't run her prior to this because he's wanted her to qualify. And if she comes close to her peak fitness, she's going to be a very, very tough nut to crack as well. I think these 2 horses will fight out the finish, and I'm confident they'll get you through all your bets.
Okay, thanks for that, Gabby. Now time to bring in Daryl Marie onto the show. Morning, Daryl.
How are you doing, Clark?
Good, and you? You heard Gabriel's selections.
Great to have Gabby on the show.
Yes.
I agree with him wholeheartedly. However, I'm just including one other in my bar pot in the opening leg. I have included number 11, Gerbera. Admittedly, it wasn't a strong field whatsoever. In saying that, the winner did come out and frank that form by winning again. But if you watch this filly closely moving to the start, Clark, she's got some quality about her. And what's interesting is Craig Zaki had the choice of rides between numbers 11 and 13 of here, who he ran second on last time out. He's opted for the 11. The 11 got no run whatsoever on debut, Gerbera, and she was restless in the stalls. I hope she's calmed down a bit, and I think she's the 3rd pick of here. But I'm going in order 8, 12, 11, Clyde.
Okay, there we go. Daryl's worked out a buy pot for us. It's on your screen, ladies and gents. Make a note of that buy pot. We've got a banker later on in Daryl's perm. That cost you 540 Rand. So unfortunately, Mexican Pete's not running. It's come out, number 7. They're not taking part here. Leave you with a field of 8 runners in the running of the 3rd. This is the Circa Hospitality Pinnacle Stakes, and it's run over 1,400 metres. Betway have got Horse of the Year, Dave the King as favourite, priced up at currently 13 to 10 on the Friday morning. 2 Unzen is the 3 to 1 second favourite. 6 The Specialist is trading at around 15 to 4. And you can get 6 to 1 about number 5 Mercantor. Taylor the Comet, if you like a bit of that, well, 14 to 1 and perhaps even better. Interesting race. Mike de Kock made it quite clear, Gabriel, that they didn't find anything untoward with Dave the King after that last start.
Yeah, Clyde, listen, first of all, it's lovely to have your Equus champion horse of the season running at a meeting like this, even though it's not in the Summer Cup. And the reason for a race like this is to get that class of horse. So lovely to have him on the day. And if he comes back to his class, Clyde, he's going to be a very tough nut to crack. Disappointing run last time. They did go pretty fast, I think. And Mark did say prior to the race that he wasn't 100% right. I was disappointed, but in saying that, I'm happy to put a line through it. He can easily bounce back, and I think he sets the standard. I think the only horse that can beat him, Clyde, is number 6, the Specialist. He's a very good 3-year-old. In my opinion, he's been very disappointing in his last 2 starts. I thought he would win the Graham Beck. Unfortunately, he ran a dismal race. Sean backed him up pretty quickly. I thought he'd win there. He didn't. So it was slightly disappointing. And this is just from a form studying perspective. The fact that Sean's come back this close again suggests that the horse must be really well. He had this horse in 1 or 2 other races. He selected this race or 50 kilos plus the 1 or 51 kilos. So we've got to respect it. And I think 1 and 6 is good enough to get you through all your bets.
Okay, there's the place accumulator, as you would have noted from Gabriel Soma and Daryl Marie's perspective on Dave the King.
Yes, Clyde. You have to put a line through his last start. I mean, for him to get beaten that far, it's just not him. We know that. We know him for the champion that he is. Interestingly enough, Clyde, Pierre sat on his back 4 times. He's yet to win on him. But I must state that Pierre rides this horse extremely well because he doesn't tend to over-race with Pierre. If he doesn't get to the front, he's going to sit up handy and he's best weighted. He'll bounce back. If he doesn't win, he's not going to be... This is obviously a prep still for the King's Plate. But he's got the quality and he's weighted to win this event. So I'll be disappointed if he doesn't win. But I do have healthy respect for the Specialist. I mean, what I love about the Specialist, Clyde, is his first run on the Highveld, he tugged terribly on the inside track. Then in the Grandback, over-raced terribly. Last time out, he came out very softly. He was actually run off his feet. But what I liked is that he relaxed in that race. And the pace is going to be on over here with the likes of Unzen and Dave the King. So that will set it up nicely for him. The last time we saw 11 kg swing in the weights was with Main Defender and Greeting My Master. He's getting 11 kgs from Dave the King and he's a decent sort himself. I know Mercantor hasn't won in a long time, but in his penultimate start, he's 2 kgs better off with Unzen, and he was closing in smartly on that occasion. So I'm going in order 165, Clyde.
Okay, well, we're going to put up a place accumulator from Daryl. There's his recommended PA at a cost of 360 Rand. Second half of the PA from that perspective does appear to be a little easier. Hopefully your pick 6 is on. There's about 7 million Rand in the pool. They're estimating that anyway because of the back of 2 million Rand pick 6 carryover. And it starts with the Betway Carry On Alice Stakes. It's a Group 3 for 300,000 Rand, run over 1160 metres. A full field. And Betway Friday morning got them 5-1 the field. White Pearl, number 2 on the card, tops the boards at 5-1. Mia Moo's done nothing wrong as second favourite, number 9, priced up 5-1. Joints. 5 Elegant Ice is next in at 6-1 at this point in time. And the 8 Chasing Happiness is priced up at 6-1. 7-1 about number 1, Mrs. Browning. And then 12-1 and better about the balance. Exciting, Gabriel, because it's a pick 6 we want to catch.
No doubt about it, Clyde. It can be a life-changing experience if you do catch that 1-ticket pick 6 on Saturday. And it's not an easy day, that's for sure. I think this, however, is the hardest race on the card, Clyde. So my suggestion, and as you can see in my pick 6, is to go as wide as we can, which is the field of 17 horses. However, to narrow it down for the PAs and that, I've put 2 White Pearl, 9 Mia Moo, and 15 Poblano. White Pearl, of those 3 horses, is the class horse in the race. She drops back in trip. I don't think that's too much of a concern. So she is consistent, and I would be expecting her to run a massive race. I think Mia Moo's the filly they probably have to beat. Her last start was a really good win. I like the fact that she's now racing fit. She's had 3 runs into this, and she was dominant in her last victory. So she has the class to win this race, and she's definitely the filly to beat. And then at a nice price, number 15, Poblano. She's a 3-year-old filly who's having her 3rd run after a rest. She's never run against this class, but she comes in with 52.5. I believe she's well above average, Clyde. And I think that she will run a massive race, drawn 16, and she's one that must go into all bets.
Thank you. That Poblano, not to be left out at 20 to 1. There's the pick 6 on the screen from Gabriel. You can take a percentage as you please, and it's certainly worth investing in with that kind of money in the pool. When I was chatting to Pierre on panel discussion, he sort of indicated that White Pearl won't enjoy 1160s. That's not a distance.
Pierre's never bullish, Clyde, so I wouldn't read too much into that. What I do want to say is there's a lot of pace around White Pearl. You got the likes of Passchendaele. You got the likes of, what else did I see over here, Clyde? Who's drawn towards the inside? You got Passchendaele, you got One Foul Swoop, and you got Mia Moo. So Pierre's not going to get stuck in a cutthroat situation with this filly. She's small. He's going to ride her a little bit more patiently. Go back in her form line. I know she's hauled by Mrs. Browning over the course and distance. When was it, Clyde? In the Camellia. But I think this filly's improved since that rest. Yes. She's come back with a bang.
Well, you labelled it last time, didn't you?
Yeah, and her confidence is up over here, so I like her. Once again, I've got 2 of Gabby's 3 selections. Right. The other one being Poblano. I love her chances. I know she's out at the weights. I wouldn't even read into that, Clyde. Okay. This filly is only at 3 starts to date.
Yeah, correct.
She's only at 3 starts to date.
Sure.
And in my mind, her most impressive run was up the turffontein straight. She's drawn towards the outside. She's only got 52.5 to shoulder. I don't think that was a bad effort whatsoever. Muzi tried to give her a chance around the bend. Penultimate start, everything went wrong for her prior to the race. She's better than her last 2 starts, Clyde. She'll be right there at the finish. As long as she gets the splits on that outside running roll, don't discount her chances. And then I again with the best weighted. So I went 1, 2, and 15. 1 being Mrs. Browning. You know, Gavin's ridden her 4 times. He's yet to run a place on her. But she's at her best up the turffontein straights of her 1160. Have a look at the weight. She's best weighted. 3.5 kgs best in over here. Yeah. Last time out, drawn 1. Gavin tried to give her a chance, Clyde. Yeah. Try to get some cover. That didn't work out. She's drawn towards the outside. She's going to bowl this time around. So for me, 1, 2, and 15. My top 3 choices. Gabby's 4th. Other pick is my 4th, Mia Moo.
Yeah. Well, there's your pick 6 I see on screen now. And both guys are on to Great Tricks of the Banker. And Daryl Marie right at the back is hoping that Marauding Horde wins for him in his pick 6. Oh, wow, what a race this is going to be, hey? The new Turf Carriers Merchants over 1160 for 400,000 Rand. A field lineup over here of 14 of them. And there's some very, very good horses in here. Early market suggesting that Lucky Lad tops the boards at 16 to 10. That's number 1 on the card. 10 Pistol Pete is 3 to 1. 11 Cat's Pajamas 6 to 1 is the 3rd favourite. And then you can get double figures about the balance. Not easy, Lucky Lad. Gabriel, he's got a 6 shoulder, 63.5 kilos. We know how good he is. He's carrying that weight for a very good reason, obviously, because of the amount of ability and what he's proven himself to be. Pistol Pete, on the other hand, comes into the race with no weight. I mean, what's that, 11 kilo, 11.5 kilo difference between the two?
It's a lot of weight, Clyde. There's no doubt about it. And although Lucky Lad is the class horse in the race and a champion sprinter, I think it's going to be very tough for him to give Pistol Pete the 11.5 kilos, because Pistol Pete is no average 3-year-old. He's a very, very decent 3-year-old. The thing that could potentially bring them close together is the fact that this is 1160 and not at 1,000 or 1,100. But in saying that, of 52 kilos, I think Pistol Pete is going to take all the beating. In my PA, I've gone Pistol Pete and Lucky Lad. And then in my pick 6, Cloud, I've put those 2 horses. And I think the other horses for that create a little bit of value in the race are horses like Gimme Another Chance, who is dropping back in trip, drops to an 1160. He's been a disappointing horse, showed the world as a young horse, and we thought this is a horse that could potentially go right to the top. He's got a tongue tie on, which is an interesting equipment change. I'd put a line through his last run because he ran 3 or 4 wide most of the way. But if the sprinting trips is what he's looking for, Clyde, then he's definitely a horse that can be included into bets. And then on the weights, rulership on a run to Lucky Lad is 5.5 kilos better off with 2.5 lengths. That will potentially bring them closer together. And number 11, Cat's Pajamas, the Radar Frank Robinson, a lovely 3-year-old who's won his last 2 races very convincingly, which included a feature race. He's going up the straight again. I think that could be a slight concern because he's won his races around the bend. But off 52 kilos, he's a horse that must go into your pick sixes.
Thank you for that, Gabriel. Okay, so does it go past Lucky Lad and Pistol Pete in your view, Daryl?
It does. Yeah, I've included 2 others, namely Red Bomber and Cat's Pajamas, but my 5th pick happened to be Give Me Another Chance. I'm interested to see how they're going to ride him. I don't think he's got the toe to really sprint with him over 1160. So I see him being given a chance, but I don't think he can quite quicken with him. I think he'll be doing good work late. So he is my 5th choice if you want to add him. Lucky Lad, I think he's far too short in the market, Clyde. I know one of the top weights won this race last year, and I had a look at the last 2. That was Das. He was a runaway winner, Clyde. But I had a look at the last 2 runnings. There's only been 1 3-year-old that's contested the Merchants. I just think 63.5 to shoulder. I liked his comeback run. Going through the 400, I thought he was going to put the race to bed. So I was a little bit disappointed that he didn't get the job done. But maybe the 2.5 kilograms in that last 100 meters and the fact that he needed it took its toll. But I have to be favouring Pistol Pete, Clyde. This horse, his form is outstanding. At Scottsville, he got done. You can put a line through that. Came back to the Highveld, he gave beyond hindsight 4 kilograms,
Yes.
Clyde. Excuse me, Clyde.
And that was at
Cracking
1160,
run.
wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I actually thought beyond hindsight was a good thing because of the 4 kgs.
Correct.
Last time out, 9 kilograms to Great Tricks. Outstanding effort.
Yeah.
And then the Gravel run just put a line through that. This horse's form is top class. But I got respect for Cat's Pajamas, Clyde.
Have you?
Yes. His runs over 1400, put a line through. His run when returning as a gelding last time out was effortless. I mean, he was given a chance at the 400, it was race over. Look who he beat, Lohamba Pambile. Lohamba Pambile went to Cape Town, beat Lion Rampart. Lion Rampart came out and won the sophomore in his next start. So I'm going with the 3-year-olds over here. 10 from 11, respect for 1 and 7. That's the way I see it, Clyde.
Okay,
5th pick
well,
being Give Me Another Choice.
Give me another chance. Got to certainly be included in the play a little wider. Well, the handicapper hasn't got much between Pistol Pete and Cap Pajamas. One's 112, the other's 110. There's the look at the snapshot jackpot for our big day at the Big T. The Betway Fillies Mile, a Group 3, another smashing event, and 350,000 Rand, the 1,600 metres. Unfortunately, Fatal Flaw is not running. We were tipped that would happen when we spoke to the guys on the panel discussion with Fatal Flaw's participation in the Western Cape in the very near future. And, well, what does it mean in terms of the market? Well, VJ's Angel is top of the boards, number 1 on the card, priced up at 2-1. 4 Fiery Pegasus is the second favourite at 4-1, and 4-time British champion jockey Oisin Murphy is going to be there to ride her. 6 World of Alice is 5-1, and 6-1 about Olivia's Way, number 3 on the card. You can get double figures about the others. Gabriel, let's get your take on the race. Handicappers have got VJ at a 119, Fiery Pegasus at a 105, 3 kilos weighted between the two of them. But I would imagine Fiery Pegasus still got a lot to come.
There's no doubt about it, Clyde. She's a top filly, and anyone that watched her last run will know that what she did to finish a neck of Celtic Groomers was almost impossible. She raced 3 wide most of the journey, and Malasede let her stretch at the top of the straight or even just before. And the fact that she finished the race, because it looked like she was going to get beat a length or two, the fact that she finished the race was mind-blowing. Joe made the decision after that race that he's giving her a little bit of a break. He wasn't going to go the Starling Stakes in between. And because of that, I really think this filly is going to be a very tough nut to crack. Her form's outstanding. She's accounted for a number of these horses as a juvenile. In the race where she beat World of Alice, she also beat Olivia's Way 4 lengths. So her form is high class. Her only attempt at a Group 1 was when she got beat 2 lengths to quid pro quo at Scottsville. And if you watch the race, I don't want to say she wins the race, but I promise you she doesn't finish out the first 2 if she gets a run. So she is a top-class filly. She's my value bet on the day. It's lovely to get someone like Oisin Murphy in the saddle. He is outstanding, Clyde. And I mean, I follow racing across the world. If you do follow racing, you will know what a top-class jockey it is. He is drawn 15, which is a concern, but with him in the saddle, we are hoping that he'll be able to overcome it. Okay. You've got to respect VJ's Angel, but in saying that, they did run together in the Spring Challenge, and Fiery Pegasus beat her quite comfortably that day. And because of that, I think Fiery Pegasus will be a very tough nut to crack on the day.
Okay, so there's the analysis from Gabriel around Fiery Pegasus. Argues a very good case to give her another serious winning chance here, Daryl.
Yeah, like Gabby says, you just have to watch that replay. How she lost that race, Clyde. There's no justice in this game. Yeah, on paper, I mean, she beat VJ's Angel and she's a kilogram better off. Now, VJ's Angel's obviously a grade 1 winner and she has to give weight round, but I just prefer prepped. I mean, she's had that extra run. You can write off that Betway Spring Challenge race completely off her. I'm a little bit concerned that she has to give the weights away, Clyde. But I've made it clear from day one, I think she's one of the best fillies in the country, number 1 VJ's Angel. So I love her chances. And back at Turffontein Standside Track, Clyde, this is her home ground. So she'll be right there when the chips are down. Fiery Pegasus, if she's a deserving winner of this race, if she does get it right. I'm a little bit concerned about that draw. But she's got Ocean in the irons to assist her. I just hope she gets some luck in running because she didn't deserve to lose her last start, Clyde. I love her chances. But I'm not excluding Olivia's Way. She just knows how to win.
You love Olivia's Way, eh?
She knows how to win, Clyde.
You tipped her from the day you saw her, you've been tipping her.
And isn't she improving?
Yeah.
She's improving at a rapid rate of knots. I mean, last time out, Marco gave a lovely chance. At the 400, he hadn't moved on her. It was race over already. And then World of Alice, Clyde. You have to love that return with the blinkers last time out. So, yes, I do think 1 and 4 are the right fillies in the race, but healthy respect for 3 and 6, Clyde.
Interesting race it's going to be indeed. There's another bipot to catch, ladies and gents. And there's a look at the second bipot of the afternoon. And if you take it that way, it will cost you 300 Rand. Okay, this is one of the most exciting races, isn't it? The Betway Dingon's a grade 2, 650,000 Rand. And, well, there's every year we really do get that talking horse. And this year it's all great tricks. Everyone's been talking about Michael de Kock's horse that Cabello Mazzaniani will now have the opportunity to partner. We'll have a look at the market where Betway priced up great tricks at even money favourite. Number 13, Quid Pro Quo, is the 19 to 10 second favourite. And then you can get 14 to 1 bar the two of them. Now, Gabriel, you've got to ask yourself the question as to what does Great Tricks actually run off? What sort of rating? And, you know, when one assesses the form and goes back to that Wild at War participation where you had the likes of Barbaresco in there, you had Back in Business in there, you had Fort Defender in there, you've got to say, well, maybe Great Tricks is as high as a 118 or thereabouts, something to that effect. I can tell you I spoke to Baron Bortus about Quid Pro Quo, just to say to him, because I wanted him to come onto our show on Saturday afternoon, and we were just chatting, and he said Andrew Fortune worked the horse a couple of times. A couple of gallops ago, they thought might need the run. But on its last gallop, he says she's spot on.
Very, very interesting talk from Baron, Clyde. And it's nice to hear that, because if she is 100% on song, and if Greatrix brings to the course what he has shown us in his last 3 starts, we could potentially have the race of the season. However, Clyde, I'm a form studier, and I love horses that are racing fit. And because of the fitness, and only because of the fitness, I'm making Greatrix the best bet on the card, and I'm bankering him in all my exotics. He's drawn 1. His form is absolutely outstanding. And the fact that he could beat Wild at War that easily last time, giving him 3 kilos, shows what a very good horse he is. If you have a look at number 2, Wahid, he ran against Greatrix on the 25th of October. He gets beat 11 lengths. Yes, he was giving him quite a lot of weight, but irrelevant in a sprint, I believe. A week later, he gets beat a length in the Graham Beck. Very, very, very interesting to see something like that. It's just showing you the class of horse that this grey horse of Mark de Kock, how good he could potentially be. He's drawn one. He'll probably get the run of the race, and I think he's going to be hard to beat. Again, not discounting Quid Pro Quo because she's a superstar of a filly. She's done everything right as a 2-year-old. I mean, I think she's the only 2-year-old filly to win all the races that she was able to win. Just as a form studier, I don't like the fact that she's going straight into a mile, turffontein standside track after a 4-month break. That's not for me. That's what puts me off her.
Okay, that's why we got you on the show when you study the form to analyse that form for us. And, well, Daryl, you can tell us now as to your take on Great Tricks. I know you've banked it and everything, so I'd imagine you're just as big.
After yesterday, I don't know if I should actually tip this horse, Clyde.
Why? What do you mean?
Because I got a message out. I'm coming on air and I'm tipping favourites. And they swarm me and my family. Can you believe that?
Ooh. Where?
Somebody.
When?
Anyway.
Give us their number.
Yeah.
Share it.
Clyde.
So we can ask them.
Yeah, I mean...
They've taken their tablets
for me,
this morning.
this isn't the bet of the day, as Gabby said. This is the bet of the century. I can't see him getting beaten, Clyde. Listen, Quid Pro Quo was sensational. I just can't see her beating Great Tricks, having the prep he's had, and her not having run for a couple of months. I can't see it happening. If she wins, Clyde, I'll be the first to congratulate Baron Puertas, but I can't see it happening. I'm actually playing to beat her for second. I think Fire Attack could be one of the exacta propositions of, just put a line through his last start at the Vaal. Penultimate start, he was unfortunate when returning from a lengthy layoff. So for me, I'm going 3 from 1. Great Tricks, you can empty out in my mind, Clyde.
Okay, so Great Tricks, well, it's not in the red yet on Friday. It's still even money. And Daryl tipping the exacta 3 ahead of 1. The Betway Summer Cup, Africa's richest horse race, is about to run. And this particular event over 2,000 metres, there are 20 of them that will be taking their chances in this great event. And See It Again, Michael Roberts is already in Johannesburg with See It Again. They're very happy with the way the horse travelled and the way he moves. Seems to be thumbs up from the stable. Pierre Stradham was a little bit concerned, from a betting perspective. He thought the market wasn't right, but we've heard Pierre talk about that before. And See It Again, 3-1. Second choice, Royal Victory, is at 13-2 as the second favourite. Last year's winner. Can he keep the trophy in his house? 9 Francis Ethel is 8-1, and 13 Silver Sanctuary is 10-1. 10-1 about Barbaresco, and 12-1 and better the others. A competitive race, some very good horses running, Gabriel, and what do you like?
Clyde, the fact that Mace has brought See It Again to the Summer Cup just brings a different dimension to the race because he is such a class horse. I've liked different horses leading up to the race, Clyde. Watched the preps, Victory Moon, Charity Mile first, Victory Moon. And after each race, I've liked certain horses. And then the draws came out, and that's changed the complexity of the race completely. I sat down and I've studied very, very hard, Clyde. And what I've done is I've actually said, if See It Again was in a match race with each horse, and I've gone with each individual horse at the weights, do I believe See It Again could beat these horses at those weights? So, for example, could See It Again beat a horse like Barbaresco giving it 5, or Porto Manzana, etc., etc.? I couldn't find one horse that I believe is able to beat See It Again in a match race of these weights. And because of that, Clyde, I think he's going to be a very difficult horse to beat. I've always wanted to see this horse on the turffontein standside track. I think he's a top horse. I know it's 60 kilos and 2,000 meters. And while I don't believe this is the perfect prep into the race, in Mace's mind, it might well be the perfect prep, and he'll know the horse better than me. In saying all of the above, I think he's the horse that they're all going to have to beat, being the class horse in the race. The danger, I think, could be a horse like Purple Pitcher, Clyde. If you take his run to Dave the King in the Champions Cup, See It Again, Royal Victory, they were all just in front of him. He's better off at the weight. You can clearly see that Robin has prepped this horse specifically for the race. His 2 runs have been very decent. He loves the standside track. He's a multiple Group 1 winner on the track. And at 20-1 or whatever price he is, I think he's the value in the race. A horse like Main Defender, Clyde, classy horse. My biggest concern with him is will he stay the 2,000 meters, because last time it looked race over. I'm not sure he will though. Royal Victory on their last run, of course, everyone's telling me he will beat Seat Again based on the last run. And if you take that last run exclusively, well, he's got a big chance of doing it. I liked his prep better last year. He had more runs into the race than he has this year. I just think Seat Again won quite easily, to be honest. So I don't think he can turn it around, even though a lot of the people do. A filly like Beating Wings has a chance. She's had a good prep into the race. Francis Ethel with Oyson Murphy's got a chance. And a horse for wider pick sixes is a horse like Hot to Ruby Clyde. He's had 2 very good runs into the race. After his last start, I thought this is a massive runner come Summer Cup. But a lot of these horses are badly out at the weights because of the conditions. So they got to be far better than what they produced up to now. For punters that want to know about Rule by Force, as you can see, I've got a share in the horse. It's an absolute honor to have a horse in the Summer Cup. Joe says that the horse is doing really well. He's improved many lengths from his last start. He was a classy 3-year-old. I'm not sure if he's got the class to beat a horse like Seat Again, but if you do want to include a horse at 100 to 1, he's something that could go in. But I think Seat Again is the horse they all have to beat.
Okay, remember, just a reminder, there's a quartet carryover in this race and you want to try and get some of the money. I asked the guys on the panel what their double floaters were and they gave their views too. Gabriel very confident with See It Again. That dead heat performance, See It Again in Purple Picture. Purple Picture's got them. I see Purple Picture shortened. I think it was 25 or 33 to 1 is now 16 to 1. So there's been quite a lot of support for that. But is it Royal Victory, See It Again, or are you going deeper?
I'm going Royal Victory, Purple Picture, See It Again, Main Defender. Respect for the fillies, Francis Ethel, Beating Wings.
Royal Victory being your first choice, is it?
Atticus Finch, back end of what's it? The Superfecta, Clyde?
Yeah, it used to be.
Clyde, you just said that May said the horse travelled well.
Yes.
Is he here?
Yeah.
Because Royal Victory is only coming up tonight, I believe.
See It Again's here.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, Clyde, from day one, I said I can't wait to see It Again on the Turffontein Standside track. I mean, he's just going to love it, isn't he? But strictly on paper, Clyde, 4.5 kilograms. And Nate's done it before. This horse grows another leg on the half veld. So for me, I have to be leaning towards Royal Victory. Not worried about the draw whatsoever, Clyde. He needs to be ridden cold. He'll get the gaps when they need to open. I actually was I didn't like his chances at Greyville in Durban, July. Excuse me, Clyde, when he was drawn 1. I thought he's more of a hold-up type of horse. So I like the fact that he's drawn out wide. But Purple Picture, in my mind, had the best prep. 2,000 meters on the standside track. 3.5 kilograms better off with Main Defender. Extra 200 meters in his favor. 4 and 5, like I said, for me, Clyde, respect for a whole lot of others. But I'm going 4 and 5 to fight it out, respect for 1 and 2.
Okay, so you're double floating Royal Victory and Purple Picture in the quartet. And those are the horses to add into the jackpot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 12, 13 and 16 from Darryl's perspective. Later on in the play, he does banker in the very next leg. We mentioned it earlier. He's hoping Marauding Horde wins Saturday. Well, if you never got into the Betway Summer Cup, you get into the Betway Summer Cup consolation, that is, and this over 2,000 metres. There was a field of 14, but the 14 horse has been taken out. Julia Tango is not running. Leave you with 13 runners. On the Friday morning, Marauding Horde topped the boards at 7-2 with Betway number 10 on the card. Second choice number 8, Thunny Player, priced up at 5-1. 6-1 about number 12, Atarim. And 1, Meridius, is priced up at 7-1. 8-1, the 5 or Safe Passage. And 8-1 as well about number 11, Good Counsel. 10-1 and Better the Balance. All right, I just want to start with Daryl Marie and I'll go to Gabriel Soma in a moment, talk about Marauding Horde because he's been tipping this throughout the exotics this afternoon or for Saturday afternoon. I'd imagine one of the reasons you thought it didn't stay last time, right?
No, a week later, Clyde.
Oh, the week later.
A week later.
Nothing to do with the
put a line
stamina.
through that start.
Okay, I thought it was because of a 2-4, that's why.
Not that whatsoever.
Oh.
A week later. That was a flat second run after a layoff. His penultimate start, they didn't fancy him whatsoever. They thought he was in need of that run. Clyde, he came back and he won as a first run as a gelding. Flat second run. He's now had a great prep going into this run. He's got that run under his belt. cherry ripe, unbeaten over the course and distance. Have a look at his opposition, Clyde. Yes, I opened the book. I said, this is a great race for Safe Passage. But then I had a look at him, Clyde. He's old legs. He hasn't won in 900 days, 3 years. Yes, he's off a very competitive mark, and it looks like he's very racing fit. But old legs, old tired legs, Clyde. How are you going to go against your son Keanu in
No
a
chance.
dash?
No
chance.
chance.
Then you also got the likes of Mr. Pettigrew's horse, who I also give a little bit of a chance to, because I don't think there's much pace in this race. So if Good Counsel off that weight goes forward, I can see him being a factor over here. Atarime, unlucky in his last start, he's better off at the weights with Marauding Horde, and he was caught wide on that occasion. I'll give him a chance over here, but Clyde, Marauding Horde was in desperate need of his comeback efforts. Put a line through his later start. I think he's going to prove very, very hard to beat. If you want to go wider and have backup like I against my play, Safe Passage is my second pick, Good Counsel my third, Atarime my fourth.
Okay. Thank you, Daryl. There we go. You got it from Daryl Maurice to why he likes Marauding Horde. Gabriel, are you as big?
No, definitely not, Clyde. And if you have a look at my pick six, I don't think I put it in. So for those viewers that follow Daryl, then please add it into the pick six that I put. But Clyde, when I looked at this race, I didn't think he was in the top three, or I didn't put him as a top three selection. The three horses that I'm concentrating on in this race, Clyde, is number one, Meridius, because he is no doubt the class horse in the race. His last start was a good run. There were excuses in it. And prior to that, if he brings his best form to the course, he's a definite runner. Safe Passage was my first choice in the race. I love the fact that he's drawn two, and I like the jockey change, Clyde. And not for anything, not to say the youngster's done anything wrong, but you get a jockey like Gavin Larena with his experience and that, they can tend to bring something out of a horse that's lost its form. What it is, I don't know how they do it, but I really do like the fact that Gavin sits on this horse. He's been running in hot races, hard races, all along. This is the easiest race he would have to contest in a long time. And I wouldn't be surprised, because he's fit and well. This is his fourth run after a race. I'm expecting him to win, Clyde. So I'm expecting a massive run from him. And the horse that I put third as my selections, is horse number 13, Jordan. I think he's had an absolutely lovely prep into the race. He went 1,600 around the bend. He then went 1,400 up the straight, which is far too short. If he produces a run where he was able to absolutely dominate a horse like Barbaresco, even getting 6 kilos, or 52.5, he's going to be a massive, massive runner. And at 20-1, he's some serious value in the race.
Thank you for that. Okay, so Jordan, Safe Passage, big runners from Gabriel Sommer side, as you heard. He likes a few of them in the 9th race. Daryl Marie, however, is committed to Marauding Horde. Okay, the Racehorse Owners Association's next. Race 10, it's over 3,200 metres, always promises to be a super race. They start there in front of the grandstand, further down, but they come past everybody, and it gives a thrill and excitement about being at the Betway Summer Cup on the day. Well, from a market perspective, Poets Warrior, who's on the up, has won its last couple of starts, is priced up at 2-1, this horse Poets Warrior. I think just going to have a look at his ratings. What was he? Was a 90, then a 96, and he comes in here today off a 104, so handicappers have spotted him, but that's favourite. Second choice is number 8, Battleground, at 5-1. Number 11, Explosive Bond, is next at 11-2. And number 10, 20 Drachmas, is 8-1. You can get 10-1 and better about the others. Gabriel, I'm coming to you first to talk about this race, and Poets Warrior has been winning impressively.
Very impressively, Clyde. And if you have a look at his form, he's a 5-year-old with only 11 runs. So he missed nearly 2 years of his racing career for whatever the reasons were. But since he's come back, he's been absolutely sensational. He would have needed his comeback run. And then he's won his next 2 starts by 7.5 lengths combined margins. I'd be very disappointed if the Azzy stable don't take home the first prize here, because as an unexposed horse like that, we don't know what his ceiling is. So I'm not concerned about the increase in weight, because he's been winning so well. He's never actually looked like getting beat. So he is the first choice. The only danger for me, Clyde, is his stable companion, Breeze Over. I don't think there's a single horse in this race that would have been able to do what he did in his last start. That was a brilliant run for a stayer to be able to finish the race off the way he did. in a 1450 on the inside track. It was his first start without the blinkers in a very long time. The blinkers are still off him. You expect Poet's Warrior to make the pace, and off draw 4, you would expect Diego to take a little bit of a sit on him, maybe sit third or fourth. Previously, what they've always tried to do with this horse is they've thought he needed to be in front, and they've used him from the front, and it's been successful. But based on what he did last time, there's no need for him to be handy. He can sit off them, and if he could finish in a 1450, I can categorically tell you he will finish in a 3,200, and at 12 to 1, he is the value in the race.
Yeah, interesting. He's priced up 12, so you may have spotted something there for the Azzy stables. If it's not Poet's Warrior, maybe it's Breeze Over. Where are you with this, Daryl?
Yeah, I like both of their chances. Now, Poet's Warrior has been nothing but impressive, Clyde. But he has to prove that he stays on the track. On paper, like the way he's running, you might not have any doubts, but he still has to get the 3,200. And it's a testing 3,200. So for that reason only, I'm leaning towards the fairest sex over here and the best weighted in Explosive Bond. A couple of months ago, Clyde in the Gold Bowl, a race where she ran fourth in. In the same race was Breeze Over and Battleground. She proves that she gets a trip, and so does Battleground, and so does Breeze Over. So I've got respect for a few over here, but Explosive Bond, she gets the trip. She's 4.5 kgs better off at the weights. I think there is a possibility of her reversing that form. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I do have respect for the favourite. That's Poet Warrior. I've got respect for the companion, Breeze Over, Battleground, and if you want to go a wider prime example. But I'm leaning towards Explosive Bond as the likely winner.
So two schools of thought around this. Is it Explosive Bond? Well, Daryl's tipping it to win, and currently priced up at 11 to 2. And that is, of course, all on Friday morning. So we've been telling you about these blue vouchers, and this is the blue voucher handicap. It's a 1,600 metre race for 150,000 Rand. There are 11 of them that go to the gate. Remember, you get your blue voucher coupon that you buy, and you upload your Betway account, and you stand a chance to win up to 50,000 Rand. If you are uploading your account with money, it would be silly not to do it through blue voucher. Cost you nothing. And a stand a chance to win more. How are they betting in the race? Let's talk about it. Well, Betway have got Champion Warrior, number 2 on the card, top of the boards, priced up at 3 to 1. Second choice is that horse, number 5, Captain of the Green, who's priced up at 6 to 1. 6 to 1 about number 10, Don't Cry For Me. Then you can get 15 to 2 about number 7, Deception Pass. And 8 to 1 about number 4, Mastership. It's 10 to 1 and better about the others. Champion Warrior has been catching the eye, the way he looks, the way he moves. There seemed to be some sort of indication that the stable companion, Don't Cry For Me, has got a chance. I was chatting to them on Wednesday when we were at Turffontein, and Sean said, no surprise to see stable companion come to the fore.
Well, I hope he wins. Don't Cry For Me.
Are you on that?
Although his 3 runs are quite in a short period of time, that's a little bit of a concern, Clyde. But I think this is what he's looking for. He's by One World. He's had his 2 starts. 53.5 to shoulder. He's going over a trip I think he's going to love, Clyde. I know his dam only won over 1,400, but his style of racing suggests that he's going to love the step up in trip, and I believe he's much better than his current rating. So I'm leaning towards number 10 as the likely winner. I hope Calvin pushes forward on him. And I think he'll go very, very close to winning. If you're looking for a little bit of a roughie for trifectas and quartets, don't discount number 9's chances, Prince of Green. Now, I think his last start of the course and distance, if you go back to that run behind Mastership, he's as much as 7.5 kilograms better off for a length and 3/4 beating. So I think he's a nice roughie to include. But I think Don't Cry For Me, off his current rating, he's going to be very, very competitive and go close to winning.
Okay, interesting. Let's ask Gabriel Soma what he thinks about the 11th and final. Gabs, you can get some money out of the last race. Are you also in agreement with Don't Cry For Me?
Clyde, I really hope Daryl's onto something, yeah, and I'll tell you why. When I opened the book, I was taught by my Uncle Joe, you always look at the last race first, because you never know if you're going to be in trouble and you need to find the winner of the last race. Betway priced up 20 to 1, Don't Cry For Me, and I could not believe the price.
Sure.
So I must tell you that I am guilty of taking the 20s and the 16 to 1. I'm on Don't Cry For Me. And let me tell you something, if this one wins, I'm going on a nice holiday, Clyde, for the next couple of weeks. So I'm all in on Don't Cry For Me. I think it will be a very, very tough nut to crack. He's had a beautiful prep into the race. He's a decent 3-year-old. He comes in with 53.5 kilos. I believe he'll still get to a much higher rating than what he's currently rated. And I think he'll be a hard horse to beat. Of course, Captain of the Green, Warhawk, Bomber, and Champion Warrior all have very good form to their names, and they're going to be competitive. But I'm counting on the fact that I believe he's unexposed, and I believe he's going to be a lot better than where he's currently rated.
Gabriel, thank you for that. There's your slide up on screen. Don't cry for me. And Daryl Marie is ratifying that, or you are ratifying his. And guess what, guys, ladies and gentlemen, come the very last race on the card, if we're doing our money, we hopefully, we'll be crying, but you won't be crying for us after the 11th race. Thank you for watching Betway's Waiter to Win.